Hello, Hopper class, and welcome to your next science lesson. I'm so excited. We get to look at our bean today. Now, I hope yours have been growing at home if you've been growing, but have a look at this. This is my bean that I put in the jar. Can you see all those roots? And you can see that there's the bean and the shoot came out. It sprouted out from the seed, and there are all the roots. Kind of looks a little bit like a spider, doesn't it? But yeah, so I have these beans. Now, the one that I really want to look at is my beanstalk to the castle, because the good thing about having this is to show you, but this is what's happening inside the soil. Because in my pot, I can't see any of this underground, can I? Because it's in the soil. So here I have got my bean, and let me show you. Look what I have growing. Can you see it? So this is the seedling. So this is the seedling that sprouted out from the bean. So exciting. So what we're going to do today is we are going to do our observation. So when we do science, one of our skills is to observe over time. So we are observing our bean plant over time. So last week was week 1, and we observed just the soil. This is week 2. And what have we observed? We can see a seedling now. So what I want you to do is to look back, if you have your sheet from last week. Remember I said you need to keep it. And now we're going to do our second box. So let me show you. So what I want you to do is now, week 2, you can draw your pot with some soil, and there is my little seedling. And I have written, there is a seedling. Now, the other thing I want to do, I want to measure my seedling. What am I going to measure it with? A pen? No. What could I? A ruler. Well done. So I have got my ruler. So what I'm going to do is very carefully, I'm going to put my ruler next to my seedling. Now, I've just noticed something. Let me put it back so I can show you. Because I did put a few extra beans in just in case, and I didn't see this before. I've just noticed, if I move a little bit off the soil, there's another one. I didn't even notice that. So I have 2 seedlings growing. So let's take the big one because that's easier, and I'm going to measure it. So I'm going to take my ruler. I'm going to start on the side that has the 0, and I'm going to put that farther in the soil, and I'm going to use the measure to measure. So if I look at what I can see so far, it is exactly 2 centimeters. So our seedling above the soil is 2 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is go back to my sheet. Here it is. And I'm going to write that into my observation. So I've written there is a seedling. Now guess what I can write? I can change this now to there are 2 seedlings. I'll put, there we go. Now, the one that I can see, I am going to put so I've measured it, and what was it? Right, so 2, and I'm going to write centimeters. That's where we write centimeters. So then next week, when we measure and do our third observation, I bet our beanstalk will be growing. So I'm going to put that over here, and you can have another look at my bean in there. Isn't that pretty cool? Okay, so after you've done your second observation for this week, then we will start our next part of our topic. So, can I identify a variety of common and wild plants, including evergreen and deciduous trees? Now, these are the 2 things we're going to look at today. So, what do you know about trees? So you can talk to your parent, or talk to someone around, or you can talk to me. What do you know about trees already? Yeah, I've heard you. They've got leaves, they've got branches. Oh, someone said apple trees. That's right. They've got roots, they've got trunks. Now, I'm going to show you some pictures, and I want you to tell me what is happening. So here I've got some trees. What's happening to these trees? We've got some lovely blossoms. Here we've got some beautiful green leaves. Oh, what about this one? It's got some orange leaves. The leaves aren't green anymore. And oh, this tree doesn't have any leaves at all. What could be happening? Let's have a look at another picture. Now, this is an amazing picture because this is the same picture, but it's taken 4 times throughout the year. And I have some words at the bottom: spring, summer, winter, autumn. Do you know what those are called? Well done. Those are the seasons. So what I have a picture of trees from the 4 seasons. Let's see if we can label them up first. Let's do the easy one. Which season do you think the snow is in? Well done. Yes, you said winter. What about this one? When the leaves have changed color. What season is that? Not summer. Well done. It is autumn. What about when there's lots of blossoms on the trees? That is in the springtime. And then the last one would be summer. Okay, so if these are the same trees, but they look different at different times of the year. So here we have in winter, these trees don't have any leaves, do they? In summer, they're bright and green. In the spring, they've got lots of blossoms growing on them. And in autumn, they've changed color. So we're going to learn about that today. So there are 2 types of trees. They are deciduous, and evergreen. Evergreen. So what are the different types of trees? Well done. Deciduous and evergreen. So we're going to look at these 2 types of trees today. So what do you think makes a tree an evergreen? Clue is in its name. What makes a tree an evergreen? Well done if you said, yeah, it's always green. The leaves always stay, and it doesn't lose its leaves in the autumn or the winter. So an evergreen tree keeps its green leaves all year round. So even though it's winter here and you can see lots of snow, you can see there are leaves or pine needles on these trees. They're not just empty branches. So an evergreen tree is green all year. What about a deciduous tree? A deciduous tree loses its leaves each year. So in these pictures, you see these trees. Do they have any leaves on them? No. All you can see are the branches. So a deciduous tree is when it loses its leaves. In autumn, the leaves on a deciduous tree change color and they fall off. That's why in our first picture in autumn, the leaves had changed color and they fall off. So let's have a look. What is an evergreen? Evergreen trees keep their leaves all year round. For example, pine trees, fir trees, like Christmas trees. So here we have some trees and you can see they're still green. An evergreen tree keeps its green leaves all year. And you can remember this from the name evergreen. So always green, evergreen. They're always green. So here you can see these trees, they still have green leaves. And what is a deciduous tree? That's right, when deciduous tree loses their leaves in the autumn and the winter. So here's a picture of this one tree. In the spring and summer, it's got lots of leaves, and in the winter, it's bare. All the leaves have fallen off. So a deciduous tree loses its leaves each year. So deciduous, when do trees lose their leaves? That's right. In autumn, the leaves on deciduous trees usually change color and they fall off. And in the winter, deciduous trees usually don't have any leaves on their branches. So I actually quite like autumn. I like when the leaves change color and they fall off. And I love walking through all the leaves on the ground and crunching them underneath my feet. But that is when deciduous trees lose their leaves. In the autumn, they change color, they fall, and then in the winter, they're gone. So let's look at a few similarities and differences that we notice between them. So evergreen, they have these, they're kind of like pine trees and fir trees. So they have like needles, pine needles. So that's kind of the shape that they are, and they're kind of long and they kind of stick out a bit. And deciduous trees like an oak tree or horse chestnut tree, they have these types of leaves. And these are the leaves that we fall on the ground. So when you look for conkers, there's usually lots of leaves as well. So your task today now is to go on a tree hunt. So today we are going to explore the outside to see what types of trees we will see. What are deciduous trees going to look like? So they're going to be bare. What about evergreen trees? They're going to be green. So try and use the vocabulary, like say, look, there is an evergreen tree. It is still green. Or I can see a deciduous tree because it has no leaves. Now, I'm going to show you, if you can't go outside, if you're not able to go for a walk, remember, it doesn't have to be today. It can be on the weekend. It can be tomorrow. It can be anytime. Just whenever you go outside for a walk, have a look at the trees and have a look around. Now, if you can't go outside, then maybe you are able just to have a look outside your window. So I'm just going to show you, if I open up my back door, Mrs. Savage needs for strength. There you go. Now I'm going to see if I can show you. If you look out my window, now above my fence, I can see green leaves. So those are evergreen. But then if I look over there above that garage, that is a deciduous tree because there's no leaves on it. So just by looking out your window, you might be able to see deciduous trees and evergreen trees. So if you can take a picture of evergreen trees and deciduous trees. But if not, then you can just go for a walk and tell me what you see. Now, what I'd like to do, something fun, is when you go out for your walk, or if you're able just to go into your garden, see if you can find some leaves. Now, I was at school this morning and I found a few leaves. Now, some are deciduous because they're all brown and dried up. And then some, were like these ones, are green. They're a part of an evergreen plant. And also, I found some of these there's a camera, really skinny leaves that I pulled off a tree. And they're also green, so they're an evergreen. So what you could do for fun is do some leaf rubbings. So how you do leaf rubbings, you pick a leaf. So I'm going to pick this leaf. I'm going to put my camera down here so you can see. So I've taken my leaf and I'm going to put it underneath my paper. And then what you do is, if you have a crayon or a colored pencil, maybe a bit harder, then you just, at the side of it, you press down and you draw over top, over top of your leaf. And it makes a leaf rubbing. Now you can do different colors, like the ones on the slides. You can do the same leaf lots of times. So I might take this leaf, and now I'm going to use pink. So I'm going to move it around on a different spot on my paper. So the leaf is under my paper. I'm going to use this crayon, and I'm going to color over top to make this pattern. Do some fun leaf rubbings. Now, also, if you don't, you can also use different leaves. So that's my evergreen leaf. Now I've got my deciduous leaves. This one, you can hear it, is a lot crunchier because it's kind of dried up. So I'm going to try and do a leaf rubbing. So I'm going to push it down, try and do a leaf rubbing for this deciduous leaf. Let's see. Now you might have to press hard so that it comes out, that you get to see all the different parts of the leaf, and it's really exciting to see that, and they make really nice pictures. Okay, so put the counter back on me. So here I'll show you then So I have just done some leaf rubbing with those leaves. Now, those are just some leaves that I found when I was at school, just in the car park. So have fun. Find as many different leaves as you can, or you can just use the same leaf and you can do it lots of different times, like in some of the pictures there with different colors. Also, you can do bark rubbings. Now, this one's a little bit trickier because you have to take your paper and pencil with you. But if you want, you can bring paper out with you. If you find a tree, and then you just wrap your paper around the tree and you rub your crayon. So your task 2, go on a tree hunt and try and use your vocabulary. Evergreen tree. Look, there's an evergreen tree. I can see 5 evergreen trees. Or to use the word deciduous, and saying, looking at deciduous trees that are just branches that don't have any leaves. And then if you can make leaf rubbings or bark rubbings, okay? So I hope you've enjoyed science today. I've really enjoyed looking at those, my beans to see how much they're growing. And we've done our second week observation. And I can't wait to see what it will be like next week. So enjoy, use your vocabulary, think about using also the parts of the tree, so the trunk or the branches, and enjoy your walk. And I look forward to seeing what you discover on Tapestry. Bye.